the New York Times can occupy a position of moral superiority, they are going to run with it. But I wonder if they know they're talking to a country that's at 51-28, John.
Look, in our surveys consistently since 9/11, we have showed that the American people favor a forward-leaning approach to this, which is what the Bush administration did.
Absolutely, and he's referring, as I welcome you aboard, to the NBC News Wall Street Journal poll that showed only 28% of those polled were against the enhanced interrogations, and 51% said it was the right thing to do under the circumstances. Joining us now is Michael Mukasey, the former Attorney General of the United States, who has penned a great piece in the Wall Street Journal. The CIA interrogations followed the law. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good to be with you.
Great to talk to you again. My pleasure. All right, so you know, this report, again, if you watch the news media, if you listen to the pundits, if you listen to those on the left, you would be under the impression that this was outrageous, this was intolerable. Obama says it's not who we are. And of course, the American public, when they are polled, when they are asked, they say, hey, you know, a majority says we had to do what we had to do to stay safe. And that's exactly what you're talking about, correct?
Yes, and it really shows in a very dramatic way the disconnect between the punditry and the population, and also, frankly, between the punditry and what the rules really are.
Well, yes, and talk about the fact, because you say, and the title of your piece speaks volumes, that you know you're as a former Attorney General were concerned not with public sentiment but with the law and following the law, and talk about how you believe that these interrogations, these enhanced techniques, were lawful.
Okay, understand that the last time the technique that's become emblematic and symbolic of the program is waterboarding, and the last time anybody was waterboarded was in 2003. There were 3 people waterboarded in the entire program, and I think it's important to understand what the legal definition of torture is. Torture is defined in a law. Law forbids torture. Torture is defined as acting under color of law so with the intent to cause somebody severe physical or mental pain or suffering. Severe physical pain or suffering is not defined. Severe mental pain or suffering is defined in terms of duration. It's got to be lasting, not just transitory. And it's defined as something arising from, among other things, severe physical or pain or suffering. So then the question becomes, well, is waterboarding caused that? And I can tell you what waterboarding involves, if you'd like. It's fairly simple. It involves putting somebody down on a slanted board with his feet slightly higher than his head, putting a towel over his face, and then pouring water intermittently on his nose and mouth for periods not to exceed 40 seconds at a time. That's waterboarding. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was probably the worst of the 3 who were waterboarded, actually resisted that technique. And it may very well have been sleep deprivation that stopped him, but he was actually seen to be tapping his fingers so as to keep track of the passage of time, because he came to realize how long it would last.
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah.
I mean, if you want a working I mean,
no, go ahead. We only have a couple of minutes. Yeah, go ahead,
okay.
Sir.
No, I was going to say is, you know, people use the term torture loosely. They say, well, let's not talk about technicalities. Okay, let's not talk about technicalities. How about a good working definition that says that torture is something that no rational person would undergo voluntarily? I should tell you that there have been more reporters voluntarily waterboarded than there have been terrorists. There were 3 terrorists waterboarded. There have been a lot of reporters who've undergone it. I don't think they would have undergone it if they really thought it was torture.
No, that is a very interesting point. I don't want to let you go without asking you about what the president did yesterday. What's your take on his authority to do what he did with regard to Cuba? And do you believe it was a good deal?
I've not looked into the question of his authority. I'm sure that that Congress is going to have something to say about it, some role in it, and I don't think it's a good deal. We got a couple of prisoners out, and it raises again the question of, is there no tyrannical regime that he won't cooperate with, tip his cap to. Remember, this is not the first time. He's done it with the Iranians. He's done it with others, and he's apologized to half the world for the United States, and now he's done it with the Russians, and he's tipping his cap to Cuba. I don't see where this ends. Where this ends.
All right, Mr. Attorney General, I thank you so much. Have a great holiday. We'll speak to you again. Micah Mukasey, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, we're going to speak to David Harsanyi of The Federalist. Don't go away.